हरि ओम। सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। We are trying to study the first sutra, Atha Ataha Brahma Jidnyasa of Brahma Sutra, as per the commentary or the Bhashya by Adi Shankaracharya. If we give a cursory look to our daily life, we observe that there are dull-witted people and there are intelligent people. We all consider ourselves intelligent. There is, of course, a comparison involved. You may not be as intelligent as Einstein, but also you say, I am more intelligent than the one who is not educated. Now, this simple experience of our life, if we extend further, if we extrapolate this particular experience, we realize that when we call ourselves more intelligent, we are utilizing the ability to understand, think, or cognize in a much sharper and better way than the other person. In other words, the one who calls himself intelligent than the one who is not, it's simply a comparison between utilization of the light of consciousness in a stretched manner. More you stretch the application of consciousness, your intelligence increases. What do you mean by stretching of consciousness? The consciousness, Chaitanyam, whose nature is jnana or knowledge, is like ever shining sun. Now, sun does not put anything in front of it to obliterate its light. However, the utilizer of the sunlight, the utilizer of the consciousness, he puts a screen in front of the light reducing the extent of light coming to an aperture, a hole. Smaller the hole, smaller the light will transfer, and of course, smaller things will be illuminated. Now, this aperture which allows the hole through which the sunlight peeps out is the area of buddhi. Wider the aperture, more is the sunlight coming through the aperture. In other words, developed buddhi shall have more light of consciousness into it, and the concerned person will be called more intelligent, because more and more things become intelligible to him. A table of 20, 22s or 40, 23s or 60 is not known to a dull-witted villager. I know it. That is because my consciousness, my intelligence, the utilization of consciousness by my buddhi has enlarged itself to grasp the subject of table of 20, which he doesn't know. So the conclusion is, more the presence of consciousness in the buddhi, more things will be enlightened to him or her. This effort to bring in more consciousness into the intelligence or the buddhi, in order to enlighten more and more things, is called vichar. So what is a thought? A thought is a process of utilization of consciousness through the buddhi. If the thought is a restricting thought, for example, I want to take a stone in my hand and throw it somewhere, the consciousness or the intelligence required for this is very minimal. So the utilization of consciousness for this act is a very minimal thing. But I'm studying a theorem in physics or mathematics. I require much stronger and wider application of consciousness or intelligence. In other words, all acts that are done, all the activities that are performed require lesser consciousness, even if it involves some amount of skilled activity. Let us say somebody is observing a microscope, through a microscope, an organism. The act of bending down and seeing through the lens is not something too intellectual. However, while seeing the thing, thinking about what is being seen requires wider intelligence. So it is easier to understand that thinking or vichara requires wider application of consciousness. Now, if between a person who did not go to school and a person who has been a postgraduate or PhD in the university, there is a difference in the application of consciousness, which we term as knowledge, calling one person as knowledgeable, another as not so knowledgeable. And the difference and the result that happened was, the one who is not knowledgeable doesn't know anything about physics. The one who is PhD in physics knows about the theorems and intricacies of physics. However, that PhD in physics is definitely not comparable with the research scientist in physics, which is ahead of him, because he has still further widened the application of consciousness or the intelligence. And this application of consciousness through intelligence or buddhi is by applying the vichar. When the consciousness is passing through the buddhi with higher concentration and wider application, it is called visheshena charati. Visheshena charati iti vicharaha. That means in this world, if at all you want to solve anything in this world, a normal vyavharika prashna, that's why we always commonly say, let me think and I will give a solution to this. Think is application of consciousness to the problem. Now, if the problem is like how to invest in shares and get more returns from it, it is an application of consciousness, of course, the intelligence. Larger the question, deeper the question, the application of vichara has to be of that caliber. Why for all of us it is difficult to understand the theory of relativity the way physicists understand it? We are not able to apply the intelligence or the consciousness to that extent. That means I have the wish or the will, but my will is not supported by adequate strength from my intelligence to bring in the consciousness to that object. Bringing the consciousness through the intelligence to an object or is called concentration or ekagrata. To know anything in the world, you require to think, and then if you decide to know the ultimate reality, you can imagine the amount of utilization of vichara that needs to be done. In day-to-day life, if I am supposed to employ so much of thought, in fact, the modern generation is talking of that as stress, because there is repetitive application of thought. Everything is vichararah. That means everything is requiring thinking. Unfortunately, this thinking ability or application of consciousness through intelligence is not existing in other animals. In human beings, it is at the highest. Yet, when it comes to the question that is to be solved, which is what is ultimate reality or Brahma, one can imagine the quantum of preparation that would be required to extend the vichara to cover the topic like Brahma Jidnyasa. This is important for us to know, because we all think that let us sit in the morning at 5:30 and let us understand what this Brahma is all about. By understanding indirectly what is a Brahma, there is no experience whatsoever of that Brahma. Why is it that by using the book on Brahma Sutra by Shankaracharya, you finish it in about a month, 2 or a year, and declare that I am Brahmajnani? Doesn't happen that way. Why? The reason is, to know what is a Brahma, the way to know is given in Brahma Sutra, but the application of intelligence or the buddhi, wherein the consciousness is now going to come in to make, understand and feel the Brahma, has to be widened to such an extent that it can cover and grapple the entire Brahma Jnana. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, when you want to understand it, first you try to apply your consciousness through your buddhi on 2 plus 2. You understand the concept of 2 as a mathematical concept, 2 as a mathematical concept, plus as a mathematical addition concept, and 4 as a result. And the result is also understood by you. The vichar and the action, the vichar and the phala is complete. In the Brahma Sutra Abhyasa, vichara is there, but the phalam doesn't come. Why so? And that is the reason why the word atha has been used. In order to achieve the phalam of Brahma Jidnyasa, in order to achieve the anubhava, anubhuti of Brahma, the one who wants to think about it should first focus on the first word of the first sutra called atha. And that is why, while elaborating that sutra, Shankaracharya says, atra atha shabdaha anantaryartha parigruhyate na adhikarartha brahma jidnyasaya anadhikaryatvat. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is, atha shabda is meant for after. Anantarya, after. When you say after, that means there is something previous. And previous and after is called a sequence. That means atha shabda indicates a sequence. We saw last time the 4 possible meanings of atha from the Mangala Suchaka to Vishayantara. And we came to the conclusion as per Shankaracharya that atha means after. That puts us a question. What is that after? After what? After what? Shankaracharya says, Sati cha anantarya arthatve yatha dharma jidnyasa purvarutam vedadhyayanam niyamena apikshate. When you want to learn about dharma, where do you go? You go to Purva Mimamsa. We saw that amongst the Shad Darshanas, the Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, and 5th is Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is the part that deals with Dharma Jidnyasa. That is why the Kapil Muni's treatise on, the Gemini Rishi's treatise on Purva Mimamsa starts with the word Athato Dharma Jidnyasa. Uttar Mimamsa starts with Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. When Dharma Jidnyasa you want to know about Dharma. It is different than the Brahma Jidnyasa. Dharma Jidnyasa and Brahma Jidnyasa are two different things. What is Dharma Jidnyasa? Dharma Jidnyasa means after I presume that I am born in this world, within this world, whether it is illusory, whether it is real, whether it is anirvachaniya, leave it all aside. Factually, every day I am transacting in this world. I am born, I am married, I have got children. All these are factual things for me. They are not factual, that's a different thing. That is from Paramarthik Satta point of view. As long as I am in the transactory world or a Vyavaharika Vishwa doing lots of activities, I must know precisely what is expected of me. I am making money because I am serving in a particular office. Is it dharma or adharma? I must know this. I am working as a customs officer and somebody gave me some money and I kept it with me because I thought that I helped him, so he gave me the money. Is it moral or immoral? We ask the question. That is precisely what, is it dharma or adharma? So till the time we presume that we are in this world and the Vyavaharik Vishwa is standing in front of us, or else I am in Vyavaharika Satta, I must know how to behave in this world by understanding right and wrong, dharma and adharma. The righteousness is told in Purva Mimamsa by Jaimini Rishi and further commentaries on that. Acharya says, in order to know dharma, you must read Veda. You must read Veda, then you will come to know what dharma, righteousness is. Yatha dharma jidnyasa purvavrutam vedadhyayanam niyamena apekshite evam brahma jidnyasa api yat purvavrutta niyamena apekshite tadvaktavyam. Even for Brahma jidnyasa, you need to study Veda. That means dharma jidnyasa and Brahma jidnyasa both require prerequisite of study of Veda. What is the difference then? The difference is where he is coming, which is very critical for us. And the difference is yatha dharma jidnyasa purva vrutam vedadhyayanam niyamena apikshate evam brahma jidnyasa api yat purva vrutam niyamena apikshate swadhyaya adhyayanantaryam tu samanam. Up to study of Vedas, both are same. To know Brahma, you must study Ved. To know Dharma, you must study Ved. The difference lies in Dharma jidnyasaya prag api adhivedantasya Brahma jidnyasa upapatte. The meaning is, when you do study of Upanishada, you get in your mind a curiosity, jidnyasa about Brahma, because it is mentioned in Upanishada. So while reading Veda, you come across the word Brahma, Atma, and then the jidnyasa. So that means you, unless you study Veda, because the word Brahma and Atma is there in Veda only. So you have to study Veda beforehand. It is, but only thing is, suppose somebody does not read the Purva Mimamsa part. In other words, you did not read Brahmana, Samhita, and you read only Aranyaka and Upanishad. Will that do or not? That is $1 million question. Samhita and Brahmana, the first half called Karma Kand of Veda, teaches you about Dharma, which yajnas to do, how to do them, what phalam they will give, Jyotishtoma yajna, Ashwamedha yajna, Agnihotra. In other words, Samhita and Brahmana part of the Veda has 4 parts. The first 2 parts, Brahmana Samhita part, talks about the Karma Kanda or gives information about Dharma. Aranyaka part of it and Upanishada complete part talks of Brahma. Now somebody decides that I will start reading Vedas, but I will not read the first 2 parts. Will that do or will that not do is $1 million question. This is precisely what Shankaracharya is now hinting at. Is it necessary to know Dharma to know Brahma? Now, when he is talking about Dharma, he is talking about Karma Kanda, means karma. Now, all Purva Mimamsa people, they feel if you do Karma Kanda alone, you will get mukti. No need to go further. In fact, one of the shloka of Purva Mimamsa states that that which is not involving karma cannot be of any use for salvation or mukti. Phalam has to be there. Karma has to be done. Phalam has to be obtained. That is the way to mukti. In other words, karma marga can give mukti. That is what Purva Mimamsa feels. For example, in your own life, you must have come across many people, and sometimes we also say, look, I don't know much about the religion, but all I have followed in my life is I have never stolen anything. I have always spoken truth. What he's saying is basically, he's saying, I have followed a dharma. Mahatma Gandhi followed Karma Yoga. Lokmanya Tilak followed Karma Yoga. So they did everything possible in the Karma Yoga as per the Dharma which was enunciated in Purva Mimamsa. Now, is that enough to get mukti or knowledge of Brahma or not is the $1,000,000 question. Acharya emphatically says that karma marga cannot alone give mukti. Karma marga can help you to go upwards, but it alone cannot. So karma cannot give mukti. Then what can give mukti? Jnana can give you mukti. Jnana is vichararya. Now, if somebody does not do any karma and directly reads the Aranyaka and Upanishad part and starts thinking, Acharya says he can get mukti. What it means is Brahma Jnana, Atma Jnana, Mukti, Moksha, all, which indicates the same thing, is obtainable by Jnana alone, not by karma. That means karma, jnana, samuchaya cannot take place. Sama samuchaya cannot take place. Krama samuchaya can take place. Means what? You can first do karma to do chitta shuddhi, and then you will go towards jnana. Now we have heard this word, the chitta shuddhi, chitta shuddhi, chitta shuddhi so many times. What is chitta shuddhi? Chitta shuddhi is precisely what we discussed in the beginning today, expanding the ability of the buddhi to increase to a level in order to encompass the truth in it. We saw wider the application of consciousness through buddhi, knowledge widens. Now what knowledge we are going to get? Knowledge of ultimate. So that means you will have to have ultimate widening of buddhi. Buddhi vikasa has to be ultimate. In order to do that ultimate vikasa, the word atha is used. That means the one who has stretched the boundaries of buddhi to a great extent is the adhikari of Brahma Jidnyasa. That is the reason why even after reading 555 Brahma Sutras, we are not going to get Brahma Jnana. What we will be getting? Theoretical knowledge of Brahma, which is called Paroksha Jnana. No anubhuti, no aparoksha anubhuti, no direct experience. Why? We are studying Brahma Sutra by not widening our intellect to the required capacity. That means we have disqualified in the word atha for ourselves. So we are doing Brahma Jidnyasa, but atha we have not reached yet. This concept he further explains. The reason why karma cannot give you mukti is because phala jidnyasya bhedacha. Brahma Jidnyasa phalam is different, Dharma Jidnyasa phalam is different. Abhyudaya phalam dharma jnanam tatvanusthana apeksham. When you do the yajna, tapa, dana, all the three give you some phalam. What is the phalam? The punyam that you achieve out of doing the righteous act, righteous thought. Tapa, jnana. What will happen if you give danam? The prosperity will come to you. If you do correct yajna, what will happen? You will be more anandi, happy. That doesn't mean you will be getting Brahma Jnana. So that is called prosperity. The Sanskrit word for prosperity is abhyudaya. In other words, by performing anusthana, Anushthan of what? All the karma kanda, you will be only getting abhyudaya or prosperity. What kind of prosperity? The prosperity in this world or in the other world, swargam, swarga sukham. Supposed to be a place as described in Kathopanishada where there is no old age, no disease. You're always Kumar, young, enjoy, bhog, enjoyment. This you can get out of dharma jidnyasa. Abhyuday phalam dharma jnanam tatvanusthana apeksham nishreyasa phalam tu brahma jnanam nacha anushthananantaram apeksham. Moksha, nishreyas is that which is finally desirable. That means moksha is the phala of brahma jnana. It does not require anushthan or karma. That means you cannot employ the methodology of karma kand to get jnana. Karma kand will give phalam, no doubt about it. Dharma will give phalam, no doubt about it. But the methodology of doing the karma cannot give the jnana. भव्यश्च धर्म जिज्ञास्यो न ज्ञान कालेस्ति पुरुष व्यापार पारतंत्रत्वात् इह तु भूतम ब्रह्म जिज्ञास्य नित्य वृत्तवान न पुरुष व्यापार तंत्रम. By knowing dharma, dharma is not achieved unless worked upon. You have to work upon to siddha, to fulfill the dharma. That means karma is essential part of dharma. You have to do something. Conversely, Brahma Jidnyasa is the subject of vichara and not karma. Gurudev, when he went to Himalaya, he was not doing much karma. Morning ablution, taking bath, and listening to Tapovan Maharaj. And after that, sitting and doing nothing but vichar. Vichar. Brahma Jidnyasa presupposes vichar. Dharma Jidnyasa presupposes action. That is why Dharma Jidnyasa cannot give phalam of Brahma Jnana, only the vichar, which is the nishreyasa phala prapti of Brahma Jidnyasa. So that means chodana pravrutti bhedacha, the very reason, cause, or the prerana, the inspiration, the prerana for doing anything, for doing karma is different, for doing jnana is different. What is the prerana for dharma? Jnana is out of prerana. Karma is out of pravrutti. So it's a very deep meaning statement. Karma is out of pravrutti. We have already seen what is vritti, vrittaya, panchataya, klishta, aklishta, etc. in Patanjali Maharaj's Yoga Sutra. Mind, when it undergoes a modification, is called vritti. And that vritti leads to pravrutti. Pravrutti means propelling or compelling you to do something as per the thoughts of yours. I want to do dana. So doing dana is a pravrutti, the modification in the mind, forcing you to complete it by actually giving some money to somebody. Dana is completed. That means what happened? There was a pravrutti. It has to be essentially followed by action. No karma ends without action. I want to do tapa. Tapa is a karma, means what? You will have to do something. Do what? Do sit in one place, do meditation, or sit for austerities and do this and do that and do that. Karma. So karma essentially presupposes a pravrutti followed by an act. While Brahma Jidnyasa is a prerana, it's not a pravrutti. I have seen somebody performing the yajna, then I did the yajna, so I got a pravrutti of doing another yajna. Possible. But I have seen somebody playing with Brahma, so I also felt that I should play with Brahma. It doesn't happen. No. For Brahma, what happens? Gurudeva thought, after his Chitta Shuddhi, he thought, and he was impressed by Shivananda Maharaj, and he got a prerana that I must get this anubhuti of Brahma. So he went and started doing something by which he got the Brahma Jnana. That something was vichar. So in simpler words, if we want to put it this way, dharma is pravrutti and then karma is siddha. Brahma is by prerana, no karma, the phalam is anubhava. Tasmat, now after seeing this much, the fundamental question that remains is, since atha means after what is still unanswered, now Shankaracharya is answering that after here, atha. You may be wondering why this word atha alone is being discussed so much. Mind well, these stalwarts and the Jivan Muktas of the caliber of Ramanujacharya, Vallabhacharya, Madhvacharya have differently interpreted the word atha. To give you an example, Vallabhacharya says atha means not after, atha means new beginning. Let's start thinking about Brahma, is what atha is indicating. The fallout is, people like you and me, if we take the meaning of Vallabhacharya saying that atha means new start for Brahma Jidnyasa, then anybody can come and start. I will also come. Acharya doesn't say it this way. Shankaracharya says that no, you cannot just come sit in the morning and say that let me do my Brahma Jidnyasa. He says atha means after doing something. After. What that after is exactly what he's trying to say. Tasmat kimapi vaktavyam yadanantar Brahma Jidnyasa upadishyati. That is why it becomes pertinent to tell the swarupa of that after which the Brahma Jidnyasa needs to be done. And those are, now Shankaracharya is giving the conditions fulfilling the pre-qualification atha. And what are those conditions? We all know those conditions called sadhana chatushta. Nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, iha amutra bhoga viragaha, shamadamadi sadhana sampat, and mumukshatva. This is studied in detail in Vivek Chudamani, but we can take a cursory glance at it. What is first? Nitya, 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 Anitya Vivek. What is Nitya, Anitya Vivek in simpler words? As we saw, that consciousness is expressing through us, but the aperture, the hole through which the conscious light is coming is very small. It's very small. Because of which, what is Anitya, for that matter, for the last so many years, we have been listening to so many pravachanas saying that, this world is Anitya, ephemeral, it is not existing, it is all useless, there is no point, there is no point. Every time we hear this and every time we get interested in this world. See the tragedy? That is because There are people who have not even read Bhagavad Gita. So for them, they have no idea that this world is anitya. For them, this world is nitya. That means they are not having an iota of doubt in their mind about the permanence of these things. For such people, if everything, this itself is nitya, then there is no question of having nitya vastu vivek. You might be thinking that it is just a chance matter that I came into the pravachana of Gurudeva and I came in this group and all that. We are highly mistaken. Because of our some punya that we did, a thought emerged in our mind that, oh, wait. Instead of doing all the things that I am doing, I must do one more thing, and that is attending to some sessions of Gurudeva, reading about Gurudeva's books. This is not a small achievement. This created in us a discriminatory power, although at a superficial level, maybe at a hypothetical level, but our mind does think that, you know what, this world may not be real. You're not convinced about it, but at least the thought seed has come into it. The sprouting of that seed is the result of the punyam that we have done. So now at the theoretical level, at least we know what is nitya and anitya. When you start acting on it, then you are already started working on sadhana chatushta. Now what will happen because of that? Moment you actually start behaving, acting it out, what you have learned about nitya anitya vastu vivek, that is the time the consciousness will start shining more, the aperture will widen. When the aperture widens, knowledge widens. So moment you say nitya nitya vastu vivek, I should not do a parigraha. Why these things are required? I'm very happy with one particular dress on my body. What do I need other than 2 bowls of food? What is happening? You're already thinking about nitya nitya vastu vivek. Of course, this needs to be taken further to the higher heights. For example, there is a sorrow that you are going through, pain you are going through. Still, you should be calm, saying that this is part of nitya. Dukkha is anitya. Dukkha is not nitya. If you're able to extend it up to that extent, moment somebody is in pain, you want to go and help him. Because that is nityata. He is consciousness, I am consciousness. How my own body part can be in pain, so I must help it. What happens is you start gradually lifting yourself up. That is nitya nitya vastu vivek. Moment you come to know that what is nitya and what is anitya, will you then covet the anitya? Will you collect the anitya? You will not. That is why the second part, which is called vairagya, comes. Iha amutra phala bhoga viraga. Iha means right here. Right here, I work in the office for my salary. That means vairagya is not there. Gurudev has mentioned in one of the lectures. Working for the salary of first of month is the worst way of working. Why? It is not vairagya purna karma. Then sometimes when we do all these things like helping somebody, we say that utna hi punya karma ka kaam ho gaya. I have done a job for punyam. That means you want that punya to be of help to you in the next birth. Amutra phala. That also you should not covet. Who wants the heaven? That is why Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Vivekananda said, not Jiva Seva, Shiva Seva. When you do it as a Jiva Seva, you expect the return. Iti tu madhyama. Iti na uttama. Uttama, he is giving me an opportunity to serve. Namaskaram. Oh beggar, you gave me an opportunity to widen my consciousness. You have obliged me by allowing me to help you. This feeling is iha amutra phala bhoga viraga. Shamadamadi sadhana sampat automatically starts growing on you. All the three that are described are basically to cut off yourself from the application of consciousness in this world. You want to use all your widened consciousness to know the nature of the consciousness. So can you distribute it and then you want to see? Not possible. You, let us say you need some amount of money to see Brahma. If you keep spending money here and there, you will not be left with sufficient money to know the Brahma. So what you do, don't spend anywhere else. Collect everything, give the full value and get the Brahma. This particular approach is through Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Viraga Shamadamadi Sadhana Sampat. कीमत में उनके जो हम 2 जुग दे चुके हैं, उस यार की निगाहें इस पर भी सस्तियां है. When Sufi says, I have given both the worlds, I was adhipati of both the worlds, I gave that for the nazar of that yar, that means the Brahmadnyan. Even that was sasta. There's a word by Amir Khushro, Arjan Kharid. Arjan Kharid means very cheap transaction, saste mein mil gaya. The whole universe and the content thereof is too small a price to know Brahma. And then once you are not interested in this world at all, nothing, you don't want anything, you have a Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, then what will happen? Naturally, you will be inclined, if you are not interested in this world, you will naturally be interested in that world. Why we are not interested in Brahma? Because I am interested in this world. When I completely cut off all this world around me, I will be naturally prepared to know the other world. This intensity, burning desire to know the other world is called mumukshatva. So atha means, according to Shankaracharya, having this. So those who have done these 4, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Virag, that is Vairagya, Shamadamadi Sadhana Sampat, and Mumukshatva should be the one who is qualified by the word Atha. And he can then sit for Brahma Jidnyasa. And that is why he says, Teshu hi satsu prag api dharma jidnyasayam urdhvam cha shakyate brahma jidnyasitum jnatum cha na viparyaye. Now there is a very important statement Acharya is making. What he says, suppose somebody gets these 4, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, Iha Amutra Phala Bhoga Viraga, and Shamadamadi Shat Sampat and Mumukshatva, and he has not read Dharma Jidnyasa. Still he'll be qualified for Brahma Jidnyasa. That is how he proves that karma is not required. Karma is not the requirement for Brahma Jidnyasa. The one who has these 4 without even knowing Dharma Jidnyasa, without not getting into Karma Kanda, that means somebody who has never done Yajna in his life, still can become Brahma Jidnyasa Yogya, provided these 4 are there. It is a different thing that for these 4, the Karma Kanda helps, agreed. But it is not a must. That is what Shankaracharya is saying. Tasmat atha shabdena yathokta sadhana sampatyanantaryam upadishyate. Now here Shankaracharya is concluding the meaning of first word of first sutra, atha. Brahma Sutra has to be studied in a paramparic way. Traditionally speaking, in the Gurukula system, in Guru Shishya Parampara system, Brahma Sutra used to be taught over a period of few years, the day of which was majority dedicated to Brahma Sutra and its discussion. We are seeing it in a very, 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 very short way. This word atha we discussed so much because this stimulates the vichar. The carry home thought could be, if this discussion goes into the head, would be, even while traveling and working, when you're alone and thinking, we always get bombarded with this thought that apparently the way given to us is to go through this sadhana chatushta, and sadhana chatushta starts with dissociating yourself with the present world that I am involved in. Dissociation is vairagya. Now I cannot leave everything. Tomorrow you will say vairagya, so leave Deva Puja also. No, that is vivek, nitya vivek. That which is beneficial for me. Because vairagya means you will say, I will not read anymore. Why? Vairagya. No. I have to first employ the nitya vivek. That which helps me in moving forward in spirituality, which will help me in realizing Atma or Brahma, is nitya vivek. That which will not is anitya vivek. Oh my God, my son is not doing well. He's not talking to, my daughter didn't speak to me. That man did not look to me with the proper way. I am very unhappy about it. I don't know why people are, all this is basically anitya vivek. So once we do that, we automatically come to vairagya. Vairagya means what? Dissociation from the anityata of the world. What is anitya in this world? WhatsApp group is anitya in this world. LinkedIn, you're already on a job. Why do you want to get on LinkedIn? Anitya. We had a small party. Anitya. We've decided to go to Adelaide in Australia to see the match. Anitya. Such a fantastic serial on Netflix. Anitya. What a beautiful food you get in that restaurant. Anitya. If this is not done, this cannot be done. You know, it's a very vulgar saying that a prostitute cannot be a pativrata. Either you do that or you do this. You can't do both. Our problem is 23 hours we are completely into anitya vastu, and 1 hour we want to study about vivek vairagya. Absolutely tearing dichotomy between what needs to be done and what is being done. That is why atha word has been classified properly by Shankaracharya. Fortunately, the next word ataha doesn't have so much of complication. Ataha means for this. Atha means thereafter. For this, ataha. So for this, which indicates the hetu or the reason. And what is the hetu? Reason? Brahma Jidnyasa. Chandogya Upanishad says, Agnihotradi sadhana, its phalam is anitya. Even if you do Agnihotra regularly, properly, as per the dharma, karma kanda, its phalam is anitya. Whatever it results into is going to finish one day. Putra kameshti yajna, you're not getting a son. You're not getting an issue. You do putra kameshti yajna, you will get a son or putra. Then phalam is obtained, phalam is over. Anitya. That is Yajna and its phalam is anitya. That is why yathokta sadhana sampatya nantaram brahma jidnyasa kartavya. That is the ataha meaning. That brings us to the third and the last word. Mind well on the first sutra itself and on the first 4 sutras itself, grantha have been written. Padmapadacharya Muni has written Panchapadika only on the first 4. Shastra Yunitvat Athato Brahma Jidnyasa and then 2 more. That's all. On 4 only they have written grantha, because Brahma Sutra is sutra packed with meaning. And first of all, E is equal to mc square. Einstein didn't say anything else. He just gave E is equal to mc square. Now what? Now you keep finding what E means, what M is, what is M, what type of M are there, what is C square, is it possible to achieve that speed of light, and square of the speed of light, what will be the situation of light? Oh, that all you keep thinking. Dissertation after dissertation are written on that. Whole world for last 100 years is studying on that. He gave only one formula. Similarly, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa formula is given. Now you keep finding what Atha means. Then stalwarts will be talking about what it means. And our buddhi being an absolutely santa, small, dull-witted, we have to follow somebody who has already interpreted and realized it. Acharya being one of those types. And also one more book we'll be taking for the help, and that is a grantha from, it is called Vaiyasika Nyaya Mala, written by Bharati Tirtha Swami. Bharati Tirtha Swami is the same Swami who is the author of Panchadashi. There is a controversy there about Sayanacharya. This Bharati Tirtha himself is a Sayanacharya, or his brother Madhava was Sayanacharya, or Sayana was actually a title, and Bharati wrote the first 10 chapters up to Trupti Deep, and then Madhava wrote the next one. We will not get into that controversy. But we are also taking help of his grantha called Vaiyasika Nyaya Mala while understanding this, wherever it is of use to us. Although our main focus is on Shankara Bhashya. This brings us to the third word called Brahma Jidnyasa. 2 words we have apparently understood so far. Atha, Ataha, of which Ataha word is not that elaborate, because it is just talking about for this. Atha word is pregnant with meaning. That is why we saw Atha so much in detail. The gist of the first 2 words is, in order to know Brahma and realize the Brahma, Brahma Sutra has the capacity. There is one grantha called Brahma Sutra. If you read it properly, you can get the phalam of Brahma Jnana. But as a person to begin the study of Brahma Sutra, you must qualify for the word Atha, and the qualification comes from Sadhana Chatushta. Now, Sadhana Chatushta completion is also called Chitta Shuddhi. What is Chitta Shuddhi? Chitta Shuddhi, master of Sadhana Chatushtata. That is the reason in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna being Sadhana Chatushta, Lord is telling him the Bhagavad Gita. That is why when he says, Mai Adhyakshena Suyate Characharam, Arjuna is able to understand it immediately, because his consciousness has expanded through his buddhi to a level that now he is geared up to grasp the ultimate stretching of consciousness, where no more further stretching is required. The buddhi has gone into a transformation, metamorphosis to become prajna, and that prajna, sarva prajna, is able to grasp not intellectually, not paroksha, aparoksha anubhuti. So that is the meaning of atha and ataha. What is the meaning of Brahma Jidnyasa? That will be the discussion for the next session. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnam Midam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om Sanjay ji. We will wait for some questions.
Hari Om, Dr. Sanjay ji. It was very nicely explained. Just one thing, and you might have already explained, but a little bit doubt about you mentioned the word several times. It's like atha, ataha, and in some of the commentary, is it mentioned as like athato brahma jidnasa? So, is it correct?
The sandhi of word atha, ataha, when a previous word ends with a, and the next word is also starting with a, it becomes a. So atha plus ataha is atha, and to is the visarga sandhi. Atha ataha, and it's followed by Brahma Jidnyasa. Ba is a varna, so ta becomes to. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa is split as vigraha is atha ataha Brahma Jidnyasa. Hari.
Hari.
Hari Om. Any more questions?
Hari Om Sanjay ji.
Yeah.
Bhuvan here. I have a question on Bhagavad Gita. Can I ask a very small thing? So Bhagwan says to Arjun that Ma Manusma Yuddhacha. Now Yuddha generally is called, like in a normal language, ladai. But ladai is also basically a bad word in the sense कि ladai mat karo बच्चों को बोलते हैं. But sometimes what happens, the opposite party has a dispute with you, and we prepare pretty well, and God को याद करके we go for लड़ाई और युद्ध. So is it a right word to say that मेरी आज जंग है या लड़ाई है, because मैं धर्म के साथ हूँ और सामने वाला शायद अधर्म के साथ हो. So how this has to be seen?
When you are performing your actions as per the dharma, the very fact that you are performing an action is because you are an embodied person. The very fact that you are an embodied person presupposes that you have some prarabdha, that is why you become embodied. Otherwise, there is no question of body, there is no question of karma. If you have prarabdha, the prarabdha is being a will that is already set into the motion, you will have to perform as per prarabdha, even if you are a jnani. In case of Arjuna, it was his prarabdha to face the jang or the war for the reason of the prarabdha karma. So he had to execute the prarabdha karma the way his swadharma as a kshatriya was given to him. We also do karma. Arjuna was also doing karma. The only difference is Arjuna was having jnana prapti with the help of Lord, and then he was performing. In fact, Lord himself was also performing karma. Because then, so those who are embodied are in the field of universe performing the karma because of prarabdha, you follow dharma. So dharma is the parameter that is followed as far as karma is concerned. But not in this world where prarabdha doesn't apply, world itself doesn't apply, the myth is exploded in Paramarthika Satta, then at that point of time, where only Jnana, knowledge, Satchit Ananda galores, at that point of time, there is no question of anything of this kind. So every word, we are not only jung, every word here is justified based on what prarabdha you have. For that matter, there is a disease in medicine in which it sounds very bad to listen, but in which the patient eats fecal matter, his own fecal matter. That is called, yeah, that is because of his prarabdha he will be doing. There is no good or bad in this world. In Tantra, we were studying that. There is nothing bad in this world. There is only one thing. You have done a karma, there is a phalam for it, there is a prarabdha, you will be compelled to do a karma. Tasmat yuddhasva bharata. Tasmat is the very important word. Yuddhasva bharata is not important. Bharata, Arjuna, you do the war is an advice. Anybody, even he was also going to do it. He had decided not to do it. So he told, no, please do it because that is Kshatriya Dharma. Fine. Tasmat. Tasmat is, if you know the backdrop of why you are doing the karma, then the karma will be fulfilled, but it will not create another vasana, ichha or karma. So there will be no further karmashaya. Arjuna's or Pandavas, none of the actions created further birth because they executed the prarabdha. So that is why killing, that's why even Lord says, what is killing? I kill them every day. What is Durga Mata? What is Shiva Tandav? Mrityu, Hanana, Hantum, killing. Even Tara, the Durga, is right with her foot on Shiva. And with what? With the red tongue, with a trident in the hand, killing Mahishasura. Is killing bad or good? There's no bad and good. Based on whatever the prarabdha has destined you to do a particular karma, you ought to do it. Only problem is when your ego gets associated with such a karma, it creates further seed for the new karmas, leading to this chain of karmashaya bandhanat and janma marana bandhanat and samsara utpadanat. That should not be happening. Hari Om.